All right. How's it going, Greg?
Doing great. And yourself?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm excited to put some of this stuff on a table, but I'm more excited to see how the agents will react.
Right. So if you're just tuning in right now, please watch this whole video. We're going to keep it quick. We're going to keep it as short as we can, but this is going to be a fun one, and we'll be announcing more here in the next couple hours. All right. So obviously this is a tough market. We're hearing more and more from realtors. If you're feeling like your business is down, if you're feeling like you've got buyers disappearing, you've had sellers disappearing, if you're like, holy cow, what is going on right now? You are not alone. We have conversations like this almost every day with realtors who are feeling like, holy cow, man, this is tough. I'm in the thick of it right now, right? This is a tough market. Things are shifting, things are changing. It's about as tough of a market as we've ever seen since the Great Recession. Would you agree or disagree, Greg?
Well, I mean, it's tough in certain ways. Like getting a listing.
Getting a listing, right?
Yeah.
Or getting a buyer under contract is also tough.
Or finding a buyer who's willing to do whatever it takes. Everybody's got buyers, right? But most of those buyers are either unable or unwilling to do whatever it takes to win, right?
Right. And that's what we want to talk about today. Because over the years when I've talked to realtors about why they're either stuck in their business or how do I get to the next level, it's rarely ever things like, hey, what do you think's limiting you right now? It's usually not, I wish I understood section 13 of the contract better. Or I wish I knew how to explain agency relationships better. Or I wish I knew different lenders. Or gosh, are there any other, how does FHA work, right? These aren't the questions that limit someone's business growth.
Which CRM will change my life?
Which CRM tool should I be using? What should I do? Which tools should I use for CMAs, right? These are not the things that either take your business. These aren't the things that make you successful or unsuccessful. They're all important things that you should be considering, but they're not the thing. The number one thing that we see when agents are struggling to succeed or struggling to make it here is they're having a hard time generating opportunities. Right? They're having a hard time generating opportunities, right?
And generally speaking, they're not talking to enough people. And generally speaking, they have lost their way, or they found themselves in a state of confusion of what they thought used to work and now it no longer works. Or I mean, everything's changing, everything's adapting. This whole, that all these people that are, all these jobs that are available, all these people that went home, are they coming back to work? Did they retire early? There's so many different things that have taken place just in the last 2 years.
The name of the game in this business is change. That's all I've known, Greg. I've been in the business since 2006. You've been in it since 1978.
Yep.
And it's been a series of change. It changed from 78 to 83, from 83 to 93, 93 to 2003. And here we are heading towards 2023, and it's going to change again.
Right.
So here's what we want to do. We've been asking a few people, a couple staff members, to give us, if your life depended on this, okay, and this is where I was going with this earlier. I would sit with these agents and I would say, if your life depended on it, and your family needed this, and everything depended on you going out today, and in the next 30 days, finding a buyer or seller that you could get under contract who is going to work with you going forward, under contract, deal moving forward, and you had 30 days to do it. I asked the realtor, I go, could you do it? 100% of the time, the agent says yes. 100% of the time. Okay. So then my next question is, okay, so what are you not doing currently, and why are you not achieving that goal? What is between you and that end game? What's between you and getting this deal, these contracts moving? Like, what's the problem?
You have to have that big of a threat.
You know what it is, Dad? Greg, it's right between here. It's straight between the ears.
Yep.
You have your own blocks. You have your own limitations on what you can and can't do. You think people will think negatively of you if you reach out to them. You're afraid to connect with people. You don't want to sound salesy. I've heard it all. We've all heard it all. So here's what we've been asking people. Okay, let's take this 30-day challenge thing seriously. Obviously, no one's life depends on this, but pretend like it did. What would you do for the next 4 weeks, starting on Monday, going 4 weeks out? What does your week look like? What does your morning look like? What do your days look like? How are you prepping for your following day? How are you making sure you're not pretending you're working, but actually working? Meeting with, looking at new wide angle camera photographers for your homes to list, that's not going to move the needle for you, right? You've got to think of action steps. So we've asked quite a few people this question, and we have gotten some responses back. But I wanted to open this up to the larger group of 5-star realtors right now. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to send out a Google questionnaire like today, hopefully. And I want you to map out, well, here's what I'm asking you to do this. If you submit your 30-day plan, we will immediately knock $50 off your bill just for submitting it, just for clicking submit. We'll knock $50 off your bill. The next thing I want to do is we're going to have 3 grand prize winners where we're going to look at these 30-day plans. We're going to choose 3 very different plans that are maybe like different types of people, different strategies that we think are equally equal strategies, but very different strategies. And these people are going to win a grand prize. So the 3 grand prize winners, we're going to give out $1,000 in cash, and we're going to give out $1,000 in 5-star bucks that can use towards your bill, use towards marketing, use towards whatever it is here at 5-star. So $2,000. There's going to be 3 grand prize winners. So I think those are pretty good odds, right? And our staff are also designing these same 30-day challenges here. And the idea, guys, is that when we're done with this, I want to compile a list of these 30-day challenges. If you want your name removed from them, we won't be outing anyone on their 30-day challenge, but I think it's an interesting thing to see what you would do with your 30 days. And then you can see what I would do with my 30 days.
Hey, we're kind of doing this on the run here, but
sure.
I need to make sure that if you are going to be one of the winners, you will have to allow your name to be disclosed. Yeah. And you will have to have your name on your work product so that people can see what it was and why. I want people to see what we found.
By submitting this at all, guys, you're essentially giving us rights to share this information, okay? But, there's nothing new under the sun. I just want to see who can put it together in a really beautiful package, 30 days or less.
And it needs to be like kind of like a step-by-step. It can't be wild, but it should be thought through. And how long do they have, Paul, to put this, if we get it out today?
We're going to maybe 7 days. We'll do like 7 days.
Sure.
10 days, something like that.
Yeah, we don't need more than that.
We're going to make a Google submission form for you. So it'll guide you step by step on how to submit your 30-day challenge here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to interview people on these, and we're going to run through these or something. We're going to follow up on these. So this is like video number 1 of a series of these challenges to make action happen. How do we get the ball moving forward quickly? I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. I hope you're interested in playing along with us, because I think it'll be a fun little experiment. It'll give us some really interesting conversations to be had here in the next few weeks and months.
And we hope that, the key is here that you might come up with some things, but then when you see some of these other ideas, it might spur something in you. And hopefully you're still open-minded. I don't care whether you're 1 year or whether you're 30 years in the business. Are you open-minded? Number 2, are you teachable? I mean, do you still remain teachable, or are you like, oh, that won't work. I've tried this, I've tried that. And so many people I've heard over the years, Paul, say things like, well, I did that, 4 years ago, and it was a complete disaster. And in my mind, I'm going, well, it doesn't mean that the idea was wrong. It means that maybe it needed to be tweaked.
I have a good example of this, and I think someone might be going, well, what do you mean? What exactly needs to be tweaked? So I was talking to a realtor, and she said that she's held, probably in her career, she's held 200 open houses. And I was like, sweet, I love open houses because I did very well at open houses, and I think I made a good amount of income from sitting at open houses, meeting sellers, meeting buyers. Not necessarily selling the actual house I'm sitting at, but opportunities were coming from these open houses. And so I asked her, I said, so how's that gone? And she was like, I have gained 0 leads holding 200 open houses. She's not sold a single transaction from an open house. There's no transactions that came up from an open house. And I sat there and I was like, holy cow. Like, we need to rethink your approach to open houses then, right? The answer isn't that open houses don't work, right?
Yep.
It's that your strategy at open houses isn't working. So I felt really bad because I wanted to say, holy cow, I wish we would have spoken after 20 open houses or 30 open houses or 50 open houses, not 200 open houses, because we could have maybe adjusted things sooner than that. But it's important, I think, Greg, to your point here, you have to reevaluate things, because if it didn't work for you the first time around, it doesn't mean it won't work now. And be open-minded, as you put it.
Yep. And there's so many pieces that go into every strategy. And, there's, when I think about some of the top agents out there that we have been, fortunate and blessed to be able to work with, there's some interesting characteristics here that go into this too. And so 2 people can say the same thing, and one person comes away with a listing and one doesn't. And the question is why? Well, it's presentation. It is tone. And, I think of words like humility and vulnerable, teachable, positive, confident, solution-oriented. And, just a few of the different words that I think of successful people in all walks of life, not just real estate. But remember those words: humility, vulnerable, teachable, a confidence, but it's not there's some people believe that there's an arrogance that is confidence, but arrogance and confidence are not the same things.
No.
And then it's just, again, the mindset of being positive that, are you at that point where it's just like, it's, blah, blah, blah. And can you regenerate and become positive? Who really wants to work with a negative Nelly or a negative Bob or whatever? And how can you, in the midst of everything going on, talk in a positive way about this market? And so I believe that people want to be around happy people, successful people, people that think things can be done. And so, you know what? We've talked in years past about you are who you hang out with too. And that impacts. Do you hang out with people that make you a better person? And or are there people in your world that just bring you down? And so in all these things, but right now, every one of you has a chance to earn $1,000 in cash and another 1,000 in credits. And we're going to pick 3 winners. And if
nothing else, you get $50 off your bill, and you go through the mental exercise of thinking this through. Like, they say one of the best ways to teach is to start writing it out yourself and or the best way to learn is to write it out yourself and start teaching it. Sometimes the act of simply writing out what your plan would look like in 30 days, like week by week, day by day, it's going to cause your mind to shift. And that's our hope. Our hope is that your mind does shift.
We're not looking for paragraphs. We're not looking for pages. We're looking for really, this should be able to be done in a 1-page document, Paul.
And I think to your point, if your plan is like 7 pages long, I think you should reevaluate that plan, because that's just extreme. It's over the top. I think we need to keep it simple, keep it focused.
What will you do in the morning?
I guess if you're wondering what the judges are looking for, the panel is not looking for giant paragraphs. The most long-winded person is not going to win simply because they took more time and wrote more. So we're looking for what we find to be really, really concise, really, really focused, and
some detail to it, so concise details in short.
So there you have it. The 30-day challenge, we're officially announcing it. And we're excited to have you guys play along here. And we'll send out some more information on it today.
All right.
See ya.
See you guys.